The following 3 stories are true, real, and horrifying. They take place during school lockdowns. I'm 22 years old and recently graduated from college. Not long after, I landed a job back at my old high school, helping out in the basement with the computer systems. While the basement might sound creepy to some, our office there was surprisingly awesome. We had spacious desks, a TV to chill during breaks, 2 mini fridges filled with snacks, and best of all, super cool air conditioning. That's a big deal because the rest of the school gets really hot, and they don't have AC like we do. I was lucky to get this job because my old computer teachers, who thought I was pretty great at what I did, recommended me. Working there brought back a lot of memories. Most days, things went smoothly. But one particular day was different, and it's a day I'll never forget. On this day, Dave and Gary, my co-workers, were upstairs, probably helping some teachers with computer issues. I was downstairs in the basement office, munching on a sandwich, when my phone rang. A lady from the main office sounded worried as she told me the school was on lockdown. She said there might be a stranger in the school, and he could be armed and dangerous. My heart raced. Our office didn't have a proper door, just a big open entrance, which made me feel exposed. I quickly turned off all the lights, hoping whoever it was wouldn't think to come down to the basement. After a while, everything seemed quiet. I cautiously ventured out, looking for Dave and Gary. I found them in one of the computer labs, laughing about some old movie. They had no idea about the lockdown. When I tried to go back to the basement, I realized the door was locked. At this time, the cops showed up, so we knew something serious was going on. The demeanor on Dave and Gary's face completely changed. They went from laughing to scared in a matter of minutes. From where I was standing, I could see this shadowy figure peek into our office from the dimly lit staircase. My heart skipped a beat. I was down in that area just 5 minutes earlier. I alerted the police and quietly sneaked into a nearby bathroom to hide. After what felt like a few hours, one of the lead officers came into the bathroom to tell me it was all clear. He said that the perpetrator was now in custody. I later heard that the intruder in the school was an ex-student that wanted revenge on our principal and staff. He was armed with a gun and was looking for a place to hide while the cops searched for him. He chose the basement office. If I hadn't ventured up to the computer lab to check on Dave and Gary, it could have been me that he got his revenge on that day. I still feel extremely lucky that nothing bad happened. Our school later upgraded their security cameras and lockdown protocols so that this kind of incident would never happen again.
It was a day like any other at school. The sun streamed through the windows, casting a warm glow on our desks. Our teacher was scribbling equations on the board, his voice a comforting background noise as we wrote notes. Then, without warning, the loudspeaker came alive with a voice filled with urgency. "This is not a drill. Lockdown! Lockdown! Everyone in their safe positions now!" Confusion buzzed through the class. We'd practiced lockdown drills before, but this was different. The tone in the announcement was deadly serious. The teacher didn't miss a beat. He locked the door, dimmed the lights, and ordered, "Under your desks, now!" I scrambled to find a spot, wedging myself between 2 classmates. The room became eerily silent. The only sound was our collective breaths racing from fear. But then, another noise joined our breathing. Footsteps. Someone was pacing the hallways. The heavy thud of boots grew louder and clearer as they neared our classroom. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat. The footsteps seemed to grow louder, coming closer to our door. Suddenly, there was a loud bang on our classroom door. I could barely breathe. The teacher, his face went pale. I've never seen him like this before. He turned to us and whispered, "Everyone, be as quiet as you can." Across from me, Sarah, a usually vibrant and cheerful girl, was shaking so hard, her teeth chattering. Tears streamed down her face as she tried to muffle her cries. "Shh," I mouthed to her, reaching out to hold her hand. The banging continued, even more forceful than before. Every bang felt like a strike against my heart. I was sure whoever was out there could hear the loud thumping of my pulse. And then, cutting through the tense silence of the room, came the distant sound of sirens. Police sirens. Oh, thank God. A flurry of rapid footsteps echoed in the hallway outside our room. The intruder was on the move. The police scared him away. The atmosphere in the room shifted from stifling fear to cautious relief. We stayed hidden, waiting for what felt like hours, until another announcement came. The lockdown is over. It is safe to come out. Emerging from beneath the desks, we all exchanged tearful hugs, thankful to be alive. The intruder was surrounded by officers when he exited the school. I was told that he wasn't carrying any serious weapons, just a pocket knife and some army gloves. But still, the thought of someone foreign in my safe school and just outside the classroom door haunts me still to this day.
It was a mundane Tuesday morning, the kind of day where everything just seems to blend together. Me and my bros passed notes in class about the latest Modern Warfare game update. It's about halfway through first period, and to make the time go by faster, I decide to head to the washroom. I raise my hand and ask to go. The teacher complies. I'm casually walking to the washroom, but something seems off. I just can't put my finger on it, but the halls are unusually empty, and the echoing sounds of my footsteps are abnormally loud. Against my better judgment, I continue on ahead. The moment I reached for the door handle, I was jolted by a heart-stoppingly loud noise from down the hall. It echoed with a ferocity that seemed to shake the very foundations of the school. My stomach knotted, and my hands became clammy. That sounded like gunshots, I whispered to myself. I felt the entire color drain from my face. A deafening silence followed, only to be interrupted by the unmistakable clamor of panicked screams and frantic footsteps. Time froze. I instinctively began to search for a place to hide and spotted the janitor's closet, slightly ajar, just across the hall. I rushed into the dark, cramped space, shutting the door behind me. The musty smell of cleaning supplies mixed with my fear. The closet felt suffocating. Holding my breath, I listened intently. After a few agonizing moments, another loud bang echoed through the corridors, making me jump. It was almost identical to the first. I clutched my chest. This can't be happening to me! Trying to make sense of the chaos outside, I calmed myself down and started thinking of an escape plan. But as the minutes dragged on, an eerie silence settled over the school. The distant sirens and occasional muffled voice were the only indications that we weren't alone. The weight of the silence was oppressive, and the closet seemed to grow smaller with each passing minute. The stagnant air was thick with tension. What if he comes in here? What if he opens that door? I just need to stay quiet. And stay put, I whispered, trying to sound braver than I felt. Time seemed to stretch infinitely. Each second felt like an hour, each minute an eternity. Finally, unable to stand the crippling anxiety any longer, I cautiously approached the closet door and peeked through the small crack. The hallway looked empty. No signs of movement, no sounds of distress. Just a chilling, empty void. I took a deep breath and gathered all the courage I could muster. Then, slowly opened the door. The coast seemed clear. I bolted to the exit, my footsteps echoing loudly in the hauntingly quiet hallway. But just as hope started to blossom in my chest, a powerful hand grasped my shoulder from behind. I was yanked backward with such force that I stumbled and fell. Panic surged through me, my heart pounding so loudly I could hear nothing else. "Stay down!" a deep voice commanded. With my face pressed against the cold floor, I turned to see a police officer, gun drawn, standing over me. The adrenaline coursing through my veins made it hard to focus. Was this it? Was this the end? "You're safe," he said, breathing heavily. "It's okay." The officer holstered his weapon. "Sorry for scaring you, kid. We got reports of gunshots in the school, but it turns out it was just fireworks. Some student playing a sick prank. You're safe now." I sat up, disbelief washing over me. "Fireworks?" I repeated, still trying to catch my breath. As relief flowed through my body, my legs felt weak. The weight of the situation, the sheer terror we just experienced, was overwhelming. tears forming in my eyes. The terror had been real, even if the threat hadn't been. The rest of the day was a blur. Parents came rushing in, students were sent home, and the news vans lined the streets outside the school. My classmates all vowed never to take our safety for granted again.